When you looked at film the last season, what was the difference between, it looked like you had the pieces for the D-line to get into the backfield, but it didn't always happen. What do you think happened there?
Well, I think, it's a number of things. I think, number one, some of the things we needed to improve on initially was just their stance and their ability to move their feet, like I said, on contact to continue to move and be disruptive. I don't think we did that enough continuous last year, and that's a big focal point.
When you lose a guy like Talanoa, how much does that impact the physicality going forward? Do you have more reservations with the DBs given how thin you guys are?
Well, we're obviously keeping an eye on it from a thud and a full contact standpoint about who's in there. That was a very freak thing when he went down because he was wearing a yellow shirt. But his surgery was successful, and we're excited to get him back out here soon. He was having a really, really good spring.
You have a lot of young guys at linebacker this year. What have you seen from them so far this spring?
I think it's a group that really likes to play. They are physical in the running game. I think we've really improved from an internal blitzing standpoint with our matchups on not only offensive linemen but running backs as well.
Does having that amount of youth concern you at all, just in terms of maybe not having the same amount of game reps as last year's unit had?
Well, we've got some guys back that played meaningful snaps for us. Jordan Alsuffa, John Houston, EA, started a couple games for us. So those three guys have gotten to play quite a little bit. It's just bringing the rest of the crew along with them.
You talked about simplifying things a little bit at the beginning of spring. How have you seen that playing out the last 2 weeks and guys responding to that, maybe playing faster with that?
I think we were able to identify the skill sets of some guys within our front seven and where they fit the best, and really trying to keep them in the same spots as much as we can, because now we do have some numbers with some experience. So I think seeing them play faster, seeing them play blocks on a certain side, seeing them read pass sets on the same side, I think as much repetition as you can get in the same spot, it's obviously going to be more successful.
Are you liking the depth you have at the defensive line?
When they're all out here, yes. They've been kind of banged up. It's about that time of spring ball where that happens. But overall, with the front, I'm really excited about their progress, and they've improved a lot.
Is there any player or position group that's really stuck out to you so far?
Yeah, I would say the defensive line's been probably the most impressive, just from a change with the techniques up front. I would say them. The inside linebacker position with the young guys has been fun to watch. Like I mentioned, they've really picked up their ability to blitz up inside. And when Talanoa and Isaiah are in there operating, and Chase at the nickelback, it's a pretty solid group that's got experience from last year. So it's fun to watch those guys communicate and get better.
Do you expect to see Solomon back out here during the spring, or is he still recovering?
You know what? He's day to day. We'd like to have him out here. He had a couple good solid practices. I really like the things that he was doing. So the sooner we can get him back out here, we'd like to have him back out here.
How have you felt having the reps out here has helped your guys?
It really has. I think they've been more conscientious about the penalties. So I think it's been good, just the attention and the focus on that.
Why was nickel the best fit for Chase Williams?
Well, I think he gives us versatility, that position. We ask it to do a lot of things within this defense. He's got to play the run, he's got to play zone coverage, he's got to play man coverage. And he's a very smart player, and he was able to sit and kind of learn behind a J&A last year without having to take a whole lot of reps until right at the end there, and he played pretty good against Notre Dame in more of a safety type role. But we're really a three safety oriented defense when you look at our nickel package. So I like him there. Ray has done a nice job in there for us as well. His transition from inside linebacker to out there, he kind of played in that cover down linebacker position in high school. So his ability to blitz off the slot and play coverage and be instinctive, he's got a knack to find the football. So both those guys have done a nice job. And then, once we get Max back, once we get OG, those other guys, there'll be other guys working in there. Those are just the guys we've got right now.
Have you thought towards fall camp and depth chart and the depth and safety, and any guys you might move there? Like you moved Britton Allen from safety to corner this spring. Any guys that are still
No, Britton would be the one guy we would probably move back to safety once we get the rest of the bodies in here. But I think when you start looking at where we're at from a number standpoint and how the depth chart will line up when August comes, I think most of the guys are in the right spots that they'll be next fall. The other guy is Ray Scott. Put him in the back, letting him see things from the back end. I think you'll see that more here in spring, so we can get his eyes trained a little bit, kind of see the big picture, the safety position, more of the base stuff.
Sorry, I was going to ask you about Raymond Scott. What's the long-term plan for him position-wise?
Well, we got a lot of numbers at inside backer, and when you look at his production in fall camp last year, at inside backer, it was high. He was, creating negative plays. He was creating fumbles, and we were a little bit light in the nickelback position. And so I wanted to try him and see him play there. Watched him work out late in the year as a defensive back when we were practicing, and saw his movements were adequate enough to do the things that we like to do with the nickelback. So really felt like he could make the transition then, and he played really well on special teams for us, particularly on kickoff. So it's just our opportunity to try to get the best guys out there at one time.
You have a lot of guys that have played a couple of positions. You talk about versatile, but everybody we talked to today is playing a couple of spots. How does that work out in the long run?
Well, at some point we'll have to. You got to put the right 11 guys out there that can fit together. But I think right now, when you're teaching the defense, when you're putting it in spring, trying to find out where guys fit in, what they do best, what gives them the best opportunity, not only for the team, but for them as well. So you got to kind of mix and match, and we've got numbers at some positions that we haven't had in the past, so you're able to roll guys in different packages.
One more.
What are you seeing from Connor Murphy so far?
Yeah, Connor's been one of our more improved players. He really had a good offseason. I think he's really taken to the techniques that we're teaching up front. So he's given us versatility, playing 3 technique on first and second down inside, rushing in our Greyhound package inside as well. I like his length in there, matched up against guards. And then in our base package, playing defensive end. So I've been really happy with him. I mean, the lights come on for him, so to speak. I feel like, based on what I've seen so far in spring, and he'll